And just like that, my friends, Hamzah Sheeraz has just been ordered by the WBO to fight against Diego Pacheco early 2026, possibly in February, for the vacant WBO super middleweight straps, as Terrence Bud Crawford has retired from the sport of boxing. All of a sudden, of course, we know a return from Canelo Alvarez will be one of the biggest things that happens in 2026. But all of a sudden, it seems Hamzah Sheeraz in this super middleweight division heading into 2026 might be one of the most important fighters in this division and also one of the most talked about fighters in this division. Could possibly be having a strap early 2026 because not only has the WBO ordered this amazing stylistic fight against Diego Pacheco, but the WBC has mandated a fight, made this fight mandatory for Hamzah Sheeraz to fight against the WBC interim champion of the world in the super middleweight division, Christian Mabili. I mean, dude, both of these fights are absolutely ridiculous, my friends. When you look at a possible fight with Diego Pacheco, this is a guy who's standing at 6'4" with a record of 25-0. A youngin, is 24 years old. Keep that in mind. I know Hamzah Sheeraz is only 26 years old, but it seems like Hamzah Sheeraz has a lot more maturity in the way he holds himself, right? Diego Pacheco just left Team Benavides, and the camp that they were going down over there decided to get a new trader, Omar Villanueva. And in his last fight against Kevin Saljo just a week and a half ago, had a tough one, my friends. A lot of people say he got exposed, was dropped in the 8th round. A lot of rounds he was getting clipped. Actually was not fighting and using his advantages. Yes, he did in the early rounds, but towards the middle and to the end of the fight, Diego Pacheco completely switched from fighting from the outside to fighting on the inside with a tough fighter like Kevin Saljo, which made this fight a lot closer. The pressure that Kevin was giving him was absolutely ridiculous. Hamzah Sheeraz, though, is standing at 6'3" with a record of 22-0-1. Right? 0-1, because of course, when he was competing in the 160-pound division, which in my opinion was a division that was draining his body, he was dehydrated and I believe wasn't fighting at his full potential, right? Fought against Carlos Adames for the WBC middleweight strap, had a draw, controversial. A lot of people thought Carlos Adames won that fight. It is what it is. Ends up making his USA debut against Edgar Berlanga. Knocks him out in round 5 and skyrocketed. Absolutely skyrocketed. Went from having a controversial fight with Carlos Adames to shocking the world and doing something Canelo Alvarez couldn't even do. Was stopping a guy like Edgar Berlanga, right? So the hype came back. Now, Diego Pacheco, Hamzah Sheeraz, both being known for being bigger than a lot of the fighters that they're fighting, right? Always having size advantages, height advantages, reach advantages. In this fight, they're basically the same height. Yes, Diego Pacheco has a couple inches reach advantage, but he's standing at 6'4", while Hamzah Sheeraz is standing at 6'3". Stylistically, it's a great fight, my friends. You got a 24-year-old Diego Pacheco who will be competing, if this happens, for a WBO World Championship strap against a 26-year-old in Hamzah Sheeraz. Now, if that fight doesn't happen, what about Christian Mabili? Huh? With a record of what? 29-0-1, coming off a draw with Lester Martinez. But if you guys watch this, guys, yes, compared to Diego, Hamzah, he's standing at 5'8", a lot smaller than 6'3", 6'4", but he fights like he's a big man in there. He's putting the pressure. Go look at his fights with Sergey Pacheco. Go look at his fights with Selecki. Ridiculous pressure. Christian Mabili, if I'm telling you guys right now, the WBC interim super middleweight champion is an absolute wrecking ball to run into. So either one of these fights for Hamzah Sheeraz, as a boxing fan, I am completely satisfied with. I am completely satisfied with this, bro. Hopefully, we're going to see what Hamzah Sheeraz, what he wants to do. Does he want to compete for the WBC strap, right? against Christian Mobility, or does he want to fight for the WBO strap against Diego Pacheco early 2026, my friends? A lot of options. Does Canelo Alvarez want to make his return and put his foot in there and try to get a fight with Hamzah Sheeraz? I don't know. But all of a sudden, in this super middleweight division, Hamzah Sheeraz has become one of the most important fighters heading into the new year, my friends. Wow. And not only that, if you guys didn't hear, Anthony Joshua, supposedly, who just competed against Jake Paul in the hospital, had surgery in his mouth, 7 teeth removed, 2 metal plates. Supposedly, they were both paid $90 million each, which is absolutely ridiculous. I don't actually think that's the official number, but if it's $180 million that they paid out to both of these guys, Netflix, that might have just been one of the biggest robberies ever. I'm talking about ever. You're talking about baseball games that have been rigged, NBA games that have been rigged. Ridiculous. But Anthony Joshua supposedly has to pay 50% of that $90 million to Texas because he fought here in the U.S. Damn, you got him. Damn it. I bet you he's feeling like that because he ain't even from here. But he competed here, so that $90 million supposedly is having a 37% tax that the United States government is putting on him. And also, what is it, another 8% tax that another thing is putting on him, my friends. 50% of his money has to be paid in taxes. At the end of the day, he's walking home with about $40 to $50 million and has a 2-fight deal coming up in 2026. Could possibly be paying another $100 million. I don't know how the Great Britain and UK taxes works over there. Of course, they're going to have the Tyson Fury fight over there once that happens. So he's going to get his money, but the taxes got him again, my friends. It's got me before. Trust me, I had this last year, I had to pay $1,500 myself back to the government. Oh, hilarious. Breaking news, Hamzah Sheeraz. Let's go, my friends. I'm out.